Hey you guys, it's Dani. Welcome back to our Mystic Masters deep dive. Today we are going to be doing the lovers through justice. So let's dive right in. All right, you guys, let's get started. Please excuse the ink all over my hands because, it wouldn't be, my channel if my hands weren't full of some sort of supply, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and start. I'll move my little booklet over here and we will get started with the lovers. So here we go, lovers. So this lovers card from Mystic Masters is by Hermit. This image is called The Dancing Couple. It's part of the Wedding Dancer series that he did. This is something that popped up and immediately caught my attention. I knew exactly where this was going. I was like, this is my lover's card. So I know that our RWS lovers is a little younger. The couple's a little younger. There seems to be a little bit of divine intervention there, like kind of a coming together of these two people where they may have to make choices and kind of be adaptable and coming together. These lovers that I chose, they've already made that choice, right? This is an older couple. You can tell by the way they're touching each other, the way that their hands are, the closeness, the kiss that they're sharing, that this is nothing new. They know each other. They trust each other, right? It's that familiar comfort and love. Now, that doesn't mean that our lovers don't have trials and tribulations. They haven't gone through stuff, but when you see these couples together, you can feel their love. You can see it when they look at each other and they're laughing and they come together in such an intimate way. And I immediately saw that when I saw this lover's card. It's like I could think back to my grandparents dancing and what that felt like to watch them become kids again, right? And make those choices where it's like no matter what you go through, you made a choice to be together, and that creates a bond that's really hard to break, right? And so I really wanted to portray that. Now I kept the red that I saw here because it made me think of that passion. Like that passion is still there throughout the years. It's still there. It's still sparking every time, but there's also a softness here. Along the sides, I added these flowered papers off to the side, and I really felt like it brought in that softness. So like there is still passion, there is still a spark, it's that one look from across the room where like I'm still here for you, right? And so I wanted that spark shown, but I wanted that softness as well. So that's why I chose to add this to this lovers. Let's go ahead and move on to our Chariot. So at first glance, it may be a little hard to see what I saw in this Chariot. So this is Mars. This is also by Hermit. I'm going to put these names down at the bottom so you can see what I'm desperately trying to pronounce. And I thought that Mars really was a good representation of that Chariot. He is military, makes me think of kind of doing what you have to do, moving forward no matter what. And the way he is dressed, kind of in this like soldier's uniform, so is our Charioteer. He still has his armor on here. Another thing is our two animals here. We have the Sphinx down at the bottom, whereas our Chariot here has a horse and a cow. There's a city in the background, and here beneath is a little village or a town or just a home, however you want to think about it. So what really got me in this was that the Charioteer in this, so I say the Charioteer, this is our main figure, has a torch in his hand. He's holding his torch. He is leading his animals through the dark of night. He is still moving onward. It is not the time to stop. It is time to continue on no matter what. He's not forcing them to go. His reins are very, very lax. Like, there's nothing tight. He is not forcing them to go. He has a gentle hand as he guides them forward onto their destination. And I felt like that really did give Chariot vibes for me, right? We also have a map on the side in that kind of forward motion, the travel aspect of it. And then I added some kind of watery elements here at the bottom for that Cancerian energy, right? We have our Cancer sign here. Oh, did I say that on the other one? Our Gemini is right here. Don't know if I mentioned that. Okay. So I wanted to make sure they had those kind of watery vibes, those kind of turbulent waters that sometimes you have to go through. But I really thought that it showed the resourcefulness and the progress, that forward momentum that the Chariot in the RWS showed, right? I did have a little nod to the yellow and blue. I wanted those colors to kind of come through. But I wanted this Chariot to be one of continuous movement, but maybe not relatively fast movement, right? Like, you're still going forward even though it takes a while, right? Versus this Chariot with its wheels. So this is our Chariot for Mystic Masters. So let's go ahead and move on to strength. This strength is the image of caution or prudentia, and she's sitting on the lion and restrains a dragon is kind of what the notes in the image say. This is done by Marcantonio Raimondi. I think I got that one right. You can see the similarities in the coloration. Obviously, I wanted to keep that yellow. That yellow was all over our strength card. I did also add the lamniscate in on the top of her head, as it is in the RWS. Now, caution, she sits here on the lion holding this disc, right? And this disc kind of reminds me of a mirror, because like that's the first thing I thought of when I saw her. I was like, oh, it's almost as if she's looking at that mirror to try and find that inner strength. Like, she's looking for someone brave and strong and willing to take these risks. And she has to look no further than the person in the mirror. She can do this, right? And I felt like with the lion and the dragon beside her, it was like, and with the name of caution, right? Like, even though she is cautious, even though she is doing something dangerous, right? It's like she knows the risks and does it anyway. Like, she has that form of bravery. Caution in this way is being aware of the situation and then choosing to continue, right? But she has this calm about her. I mean, she's sitting on this lion, right? Like, she's got this calm about her that the animals don't react to, really. I mean, they're looking at her, their mouths are open, but they're not vicious or attacking her. Like, she's got this calming presence that really reminded me of this strength card, because again, we have the lion with its mouth wide open, but she is just right in there. You know what I mean? She is right in there. She's got her hands on its face. She is calm enough for the both of them. He doesn't feel frightened or provoked, and I felt like she really portrayed that for me in the strength card. And we have our little Leo sign right here. So there we go with strength. So let's move on to the Hermit. I love this Hermit. Not only because I really love the image of him sitting here in front of the city. This is also Saint Anthony. This is by Albrecht Dürer, and it's actually called Saint Anthony Reading. So this is one of the only ones that were a little bit bigger that I did kind of cut down. I cut off the sides. I didn't blow it up. I just took it in. And I also changed here. His staff was a cross. I think it was a cross that had the bell on it. But I took the cross off and just created the staff with the bell here and kind of illuminated that almost like his lantern, right? Almost like calling for others, those who need to see it, or in this case need to hear it, are going to be drawn to him. Whereas he's reading from this book, kind of gaining that knowledge. And I blacked out a bit of I say blacked out. I hatched out part of the city to show that there is that separation. You got all this book pages down the side, kind of that knowledge that's being kind of gained by him, right? But the best part of this, I thought, was just the simple fact that it was St. Anthony. So St. Anthony was a bit of a hermit for a time. He lived in what they called the hermitage. And he was thought to be illiterate. Like, nobody thought much of him. They didn't think he was educated. And one day he was asked to give a little sermon, like have something simple to say for this group of people. And once he started to talk and deliver, his little sermon, everyone noticed how intelligent he was, how much knowledge he possessed, and how they described it as like the holiness within was kind of exposed. And I thought that was something really special to have in a hermit, where they may not look like much, right? The hermit is, just in his cloak with his staff. He's reclusive. He's gone off, like, oh, he must not be too smart. He's going and hiding away from people. But it's not about that. It's about getting in these quiet spaces and really expanding our knowledge, really learning and developing ourselves. And then when we come down, or when, from the mountain, when we come out of, our inner world and start interacting with others, is when we really start to shine and share that knowledge and wisdom with everyone else. And I just thought that the story of St. Anthony was great to go along with the hermit. And he's also the saint of lost things, right? And the hermit tends to be a seeker in my mind. So I just thought that they fit really well with each other, not only in terms of the hooded lone figure, but just in the terms of the story of who this is, right? So there is our hermit. On to the Wheel of Fortune. So this is Fortuna. This is by Hans Siebold Behem. This really doesn't look like each other. And I really wasn't trying to mirror any kind of image here in the Wheel of Fortune. I knew right away that I wanted Fortuna to be front and center. I wanted her energy there. She was really important figure for me to have as the Wheel of Fortune. And she will also appear later on in the deck as well in different forms. But I did leave kind of that blue background. But other than that, like I said, it's really not much aside from the wheel here and then our boulder down here at the bottom, right? So she is walking on with her task. She's got the wheel in hand. But down here, there was also this boulder, this just round orb at the bottom. And it just kept making me think of kind of like a ball, like a boulder. And it's like when you're high on her wheel, like this man here who definitely seems like his luck is running out. I did not add anything. He was there. He is there. I did not add anything as far as that goes. But he's on top of this wheel. He seems to be begging her, hoping that his luck doesn't run out. And he's running high on this wheel right now. But it feels like his luck may be over. But then at the bottom here, there's also this turning boulder. And it almost feels like to me when I think of this card and as I was doing it, it's like sometimes you're riding high on this wheel. That even when it turns, you are still doing good. Even when you're in the ebb and flow of things, no matter how low it gets, you're still kind of running high. It's like the good part of bad, right? Or like, even though it's bad, it's still not that bad. And then you have this boulder at the bottom where it's like, if you are spinning on this wheel, you are getting trampled, right? Like when you go under this concrete wheel, it is really hard to come back out on the other side. So it almost felt like two different wheels going for me. Also, we have the ships and the city in the background and her kind of walking away. And it also made me feel like these ships really showed the good luck that she can bring, because it makes me think of, prosperity. These ships are running, they're, hauling their goods, selling their wares, gaining their money. It really made me think of the prosperity that she can bring. So I really thought that this embodied the energy that I wanted to feel from the Wheel of Fortune, even though, as you can see, there's nothing to compare it to with the RWS wheel per se, right? So that is, and we have Jupiter down here at the bottom. So there is the Wheel of Fortune. So let's move on to our last one for today, which is justice. And this image is the personification of justice. This is by Jacob Deguine, maybe? Deguine, I guess. That's what we're going to go with. So just like in some of our other ones, right? Our empress, our emperor, even our high priestess, justice is not seated. I came across a few other instances of justice, and she was sitting down. And I really loved this one. We have our Libra down here at the bottom, so I don't forget. When I came across this one, it really felt like she was in action, right? Whereas this justice, our RWS, which you can see I did kind of mimic here, the red robes, the gray in the pillars, and then the yellow here up at the top for the sky, whereas here is the sun. I look at this justice and it feels like people come to her with their needs, right? Like, this is my wrong. Can you help us right it? Whereas this justice, it felt like she was out kind of delivering the consequences, right? Like, she's not going to sit and wait for people to come and ask for justice. She will go out and seek where justice is needed and kind of maneuver and shift things around until that karma is taken care of, or the consequence has been doled out, or there is balance now in this situation. And she's standing here in front of all these soldiers kind of up in a line, and I really thought that she had this presence, like when I just can imagine her like walking onto a battlefield and everyone just kind of stopping as she doled out justice as she saw fit. So I just really liked her active nature. And that is where we are going to stop with our Mystic Masters today. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. As always, drop some comments down below. Let me know what you think. Is there something that you see? Is there something that you want to add to this? We love this conversation. Last time we had some really, really great comments and discussions going on. So let's keep those going. As always, all of my information is going to be in the description down below. My Etsy, how to book a reading, 3 Fat Readers, Mystic Masters, all the things. So check out those down below, and I will see you all very soon. I'm sending all my love. Mwah! Later, Gators.